Hey everyone, this is Jackie Cooper from the Blockchain Legal Institute, and I have my co-partner, Patrina Pelton Smith. And Patrina, do you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Yep, I am the CEO and founder of the Business of Charity. We are a consultancy working with nonprofits and small businesses to help with grant writing, executive coaching, capacity building, and formation services. So, if you are in need of those services, we are happy to assist.
So, for those that are not following the BLL Live, we do this live on a variety of our social media. So, today we're streaming into Facebook, we're streaming into one of my YouTubes, and we're also streaming into the BLI Twitter. So you might not see us every week because we might be kind of going back and forth on social, but definitely if you follow us on any of these socials, then you'll know when we are going live. So the purpose of our BL Live is to kind of let you know what's going on in the community over the course of the week and what we've done. And there's always a lot of different updates. I know that I went this week on Thursday to a phenomenal, I happen to be in Maryland, and there was in Washington, D.C., a phenomenal government grant funding conference at George Mason University that I attended, and it was for women owners, business owners. But, really it covered everything for those that are new to this area, as well as those that are more advanced. And I walked away with a lot of contacts and also resources. And Patrina, if you don't know, Patrina is actually helping the Maryland Blockchain Association, as well as Blockchain Legal Institute and the Blockchain Legal Institute Foundation, all three of our entities in the grant writing process. And Patrina, I know that you've been very good at guiding me. We have gotten our SAM.gov. I am going to, because Blockchain Legal Institute is a woman-owned business, I'm going to get the woman-owned certification, and I'll go through that process with you. Because the nonprofit is a different entity, I cannot go through the women-owned certification for that. But what was very interesting, HUD, GSA, Department of Ed, Department of Energy, some of the veterans groups were there. And they were talking about the fact that they are looking for services. They're not just looking for products. And in fact, the GSA said that they even, you can even buy Bitcoin through them. And I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Oh, really? That is interesting.
I'm going to have to kind of look into that. But I was able to actually go up to both of the individuals who were speaking and talk to them about BLI and what we were doing and how we wanted to kind of do more educational outreach for professionals as well as teachers. So I'm really excited about that path. And it also made me aware that they said, if you are small or just starting, start at the state level, because the federal grant writing process is very intense. And in fact, I reached out to another associate who actually they're partners with BLI. And I asked, okay, you've done federal grants before. Tell me a little bit more. And he ended up sending me a lot of the background documents that they've used. And, blows my mind because of the details. So, but, the reason why I'm going through all this for anyone who's in for-profit or nonprofit side, definitely reach out to Patrina in case you need any grant help, because I know she's really good at that. On the grant side, before we switch topics, did you want to add anything? Because I know that we're going to be doing an event in December. Is there anything else you wanted to share about that?
Yes, so there are actually a couple of grants that are out there that are good right now for those who are in Maryland. It will be in the chat. It's the Maryland Boost. It's a micro grant, but micro grants are good because remember they just said start at the state level because it helps you get your foot in the door, dip your toe in the water, because grant writing is not for the faint of heart. There are a lot of pieces to it. You should, in fact, be grant ready before you even start writing grants. So if that is something you are interested in, we do boot camps that will kick off in January. But even before that, we will have our December event where we will talk about grant writing, grant research, and we're going to do 3 of these different events in 2025 and 2024 4, wrapping up 24, so that you can come in and get some basic information about writing for your organization. And this is good whether you're a nonprofit or a small business, because they are very similar in their approaches. So we look forward to having you come out. And if you have time this weekend to write this grant that's due Monday, go for it, because it's a great way to get your feet wet, and and look at what funders are seeking when you were grant writing. So I'm glad you got a chance to go to that conference, because when you said you were hoping it was going to be good, and I was like, it's federal, it should be amazing. So I'm glad it was.
Yeah, it was. And they talked about how many other conferences that they do across the country. They really try to, they do have a lot of virtual resources on their websites, but they really try to be hands-on, answering questions and encouraging people to step into this, because there seems to be a mandate for, especially on the women-owned business side, for the government to support small businesses. So that was, very interesting, because again, some of the women that I met have been in this space for a number of years, and some had just started. So, but you have to start somewhere, and the first application might be rejected, but again, you learn as you go. If you have a long-term vision, then you just kind of tenacity.
Exactly. And if you say it may be rejected, but you may be frankly surprised. I've had clients that the first grant that I got them was a federal grant that was a pass-through to the state. And so that funding helped leverage them up very quickly. So, just because you're thinking you're starting at a lower level doesn't mean that the funding can't be significant. I got 2 clients last year, almost $500,000 in grant funding through the state. So, yeah.
That's not insignificant at all.
Yeah. So, definitely. And, both of them renewed their contracts this year. So, start there, and then you can use that to leverage into other funding streams as well as contracting. So, yeah.
For sure. This is the end of the year. So, when we talk about, grant writing and planning, a lot of times you have to plan, year, 6 months, 18 months in advance. But, since this is the last quarter, a lot of businesses, individuals are planning their taxes. And I know that you and I are subscribed to a lot of different resources. And one of the resources that popped into my email today actually talked about how the IRS is updating for digital assets, and how universal wallet accounting really is going to be restricted, and that there's going to be a shakeup on how these universal wallets are going to have to actually, there's going to be no more combining assets across pools of wallets or exchanges. IRS now wants a clear picture of each account, and comprehensive record keeping will be essential. Without it, you could face penalties or tax surprises. So they are really recommending that you start early. And what that means is that you have to have an inventory tracking method for your digital assets. And starting in January 2025, U.S. companies must use account level cost basis tracking for all digital asset transactions. And that's IRS TD 10,000. The universal approach can no longer be used for IRS reporting. And, again, they are talking about the intensity of what company is going to need to be put into place. If, whoever's listening needs access to resources, there are a number of companies that, and this is not financial advice, not legal advice, not investment advice, but that are listed within the BLI's library, because it's a centralized library of decentralized resources. So if you're not sure where to go and you have a question, reach out. We can provide you with a variety of resources, and then you can do your own research and investigate. But again, some resources have automatic, tracking. Some are involved with the audit side, and some have keep an update as it deals with regulation. So you really have to know the platform that you're on, what you're using, and if your accountants are not proficient in this, they also need to know.
Absolutely.
And from the other perspective, and again, just from an individual perspective, and again, talking about books, written the Essential Digital Asset Organizer, for attorneys or clients, but really as an individual, not just as a company, you need to know where your assets are too. So if you are doing the
Absolutely.
accounting for your own, individual accountant, then you have that information for them. Not everyone's a trader going back and forth
Yeah,
but still, if you have bought or sold, you need to know how to provide that information to your account so that way you don't get caught up. Um,
absolutely.
Anything else you want to add on that side? Otherwise, I'm going to switch over to events.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's really important because I have both private, personal, and business coins in
Mhm.
different places. So that's interesting to hear that the IRS is now tracking that, but not surprising because they are beginning to track so many different things now. So yeah, just being ready, and so now we have a heads up.
Well, that, and we already know that in Europe with MiCA and a lot of the other regulations that are
Mhm,
coming down the road, companies that are not just US based, or you might be US based, but you do business overseas,
mhm,
there are other regulations that you have to take into account. And actually, that's a natural segue for me to talk about the Blockchain Legal Institute's
mhm.
summit a virtual summit on October 23rd that everyone can register for either on bli.tools or just go to Eventbrite because we have a number of events that are free that you can register for. But the summit, we have 6 panels and they are talking about sustainability issues, but we're also going to be talking about the legal liabilities that some of these corporations are going to need to know come 2025 or
Yes.
2026, because if you are not aware of some of the overseas regulations dealing with sustainability, then you might have some um, uh, economic impact because of the fact that your board of directors is going to
Mhm.
plans of actions that need to be put in place. We have a phenomenal group of speakers, and today I'm probably just going to talk about 2 panels, but one of the panels deals with digital governance, shaping international law and policy with blockchain, DAOs, and AI. And we have Adam Miller, who's with MidDAO, who's going to be moderating. But our speakers, I'm really excited about our speakers. We have Terry Higuraro. Hopefully, I didn't mispronounce it. He is actually the co-founder of AgriDAO. And AgriDAO is actually doing some phenomenal work and
Mhm.
dealing with farms and allowing farmers to actually take control over what they're doing. And he's going to explain a little bit more, but it's really cool. And then we have Tatiana Sorolla, who's an attorney from the Marshall Islands, who's going to talk about how climate actually impacts the Marshall Islands,
Mhm.
others in that area, and how those islands are kind of using blockchain, DAOs, and other um, innovative tech
Yeah.
to really support the long-term goals of managing the information and the community. And then we also have Lois Tullo, who I met when I was at East Toronto, and she is a CFO, and she's actually one of the top 10 women CFOs in Canada.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
she's been a speaker at the UN. She's written about climate change, about DAOs, so many things. So I'm really excited. And then Audrey Wishman is the founder of PB Token, and that really is really a creative use of these public tokens to be able to navigate what governments need when they have to kind of do an exchange of services for products.
Okay.
So, again, we don't always think that governments are using blockchain and this type of tool. It's not like traditional cryptocurrency that you find
Mhm.
exchange. So this panel is going to be talking, about a variety of things, and I'm really excited about that. The only other, because I see we always stop at the 15-minute mark. So the other panel that I'm going to just briefly mention, because it's so close to my heart, is the one where the Earth is the CEO. And the reason why I'm really excited about that is because I haven't figured out how we're going to do it, but we are. The Blockchain Legal Institute, the Blockchain Legal Institute Foundation, and Maryland Blockchain Association, we're going to add Earth as one of our board of directors, or we're going to we're
I
and
love it.
what that means is that every decision that we make is we're going to have to think, how is this impacting our Earth? How is this impacting the next generation? And so, for example, with Blockchain Legal Institute Foundation, people know that I do the Bitcoin Cinderella books. From this point forward, we're doing it on recycled paper. So again, everything that we're going to be doing is thinking through what is our long-term impact, so that way we can set the example and join others who are also doing that. I'm really excited. But the speakers on this panel are also phenomenal. Michelle St. Jane, she's based in Bermuda. She is a Dandelion Fellow, and she's done a variety of both visionary writing and also environmental advocacy. And then we have Lauren Duffield. And actually, Blockchain Legal Institute is a partner with Veritree. And so you'll see our partnership link on there. So that means that if you actually, and that actually probably will fall over to Blockchain Legal Institute Foundation as well. But if you want to make a donation and then have a tree planted for the donation that you made, Veritree actually does that on chain. I know, I'm really excited. And then we have Austin Wade Smith, who's with the Reagan Foundation, and Stan Stolnaker, who's the founder and chief strategy officer of Hub Culture. And we're already over our 15 minutes, so I'm not gonna go into their backgrounds, but definitely you have to you can come and register for the October 23rd event.
Yeah.
It is going to be phenomenal. I mean, we have, like I said, 30 speakers all over the world, and that I'm not even touching on the keynote or the end note yet, who are phenomenal women who are going to be kind of kicking it off and ending. So any last minute thoughts that you have before we end our stream?
Come and join, because it is going to be an amazing workshop symposium that day. You're going to hear so many amazing speakers, and they're going to have a lot of insight to help you as you are both in your business and personal life. So come in and take a listen.
So the October 23rd event, you can definitely register on bli.tools, or you can go to Eventbrite. It will be live streamed, and it is from 1 o'clock to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And so it's, many hours of great content. And so we definitely, are looking forward to having you there and welcoming all of our speakers.
Yes.
So, anyway, as we all say at the end of all of our conversations with you, everyone, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're all together in this world, and everyone have a great week.
Bye.